Stan Gibilisco here. You are looking at the Amazon.com web page for my book Electricity Demystified, 2nd edition. I will provide a link to this page in the description of this video. It contains plenty of information about basic electricity, including one rather bizarre theoretical imagination trip. Besides the trips that I like to take to places like this, a globular cluster, in an unknown galaxy, in an unknown cluster of galaxies, in an unknown universe, in an unknown set of universes, in an unknown thought cosmos. But what the theory is basically a bunch of electrolyte cells, like electrochemical cells, connected in series, producing a total voltage. Let's just suppose that we have 4 flashlight cells of 1.5 volts each, connected in series. If you do that, you can expect, and if the batteries are fresh and good, you will get 6 volts as their total voltage. The voltages simply add 1.5 volts for each cell times 4. Well, that's simple enough and straightforward enough, but what do you suppose will happen if you reverse the polarity of one of those cells? Now, in theory, what should happen is that the 1.5 volts provided by this cell, voltage number 2, E2, will subtract from the total rather than adding to the total. So instead of 1.5 plus 1.5 plus 1.5 plus 1.5, as you would get here, you get 1.5 minus 1.5 plus 1.5 plus 1.5, or 3 volts. 0 for these two combined, and 3 for these two combined. Or you could think of 0 for these two combined and 3 for these two combined. That's the theory. Well, I did a little experiment with flashlight cells in a book called Electricity Experiments You Can Do at Home. I believe that is one of the experiments in that book, but I have done this experiment. And in fact, that is what happens when you reverse the polarity of one electrochemical cell like this. You reduce the total voltage by twice the value of that electrochemical cell, because instead of adding to the total voltage, it takes away. So you get a double whammo when you do that. So in 3 volts here for E and 6 volts there. And it doesn't matter what the voltages of these cells actually are, and it doesn't matter how many of them there are. If you reverse the polarity of one of them, then its voltage will subtract from the total rather than adding to the total, thereby making a reduction of twice the value of the cell whose polarity you reversed. Once again, you will find this information far, far away from this globular cluster on Earth at Amazon.com, and if you can find a bricks and mortar bookstore, maybe there, BarnesandNoble.com, but I will provide a link once again in the description of this video to this book so you can learn about this material and a whole lot else. Stan Gibilisco signing off. Until next time, from an unknown globular cluster in an unknown galaxy, in an unknown set of galaxies, in an unknown universe, in an unknown set of universes, in an unknown thought cosmos, you name it. How about Gibiliskian? Well, I've done that one before. Think of something else. Silly. Stan Gibilisco signing off. Until next time, so long.